So part 3 for the Aries child. Yeah, so when you have such a child that has a lot of energy, I think it's important to further check, is the situation where I kind of crave that my child is sitting down and is, keeping silent. Is this necessary? I mean, is this a situation that actually where it is necessary to do that and to sit down and be silent? Or is it, something else going on that you think that your child should do that? It can depend on other things like maybe your flow over, like, ooh, don't have a good feeling, all the other children sit down and my child is kind of like a wild whirlwind around. So it can be your own kind of, oops, we're too loud, we're too big here, like filling the room, getting all the attention. So yeah, then of course it would be more preferable that you work with your own, like yeah, with yourself, with your own consciousness, because it's not necessarily bad to fill the space and to demand the room. It's a natural thing for Aries. So again, check if that's a necessary situation, and sometimes it is. And then it's very appropriate to also, like, yeah, command that it is such a situation. And then you can kind of train with them best step by step, or in a little bit shorter scenarios, to kind of learn that it's okay. Sometimes I can just listen to other people. I can also do with others, like I can do something with them. So that it's not, to make them understand in a positive way, that it's not only about their will all the time, while it often is. So you allow them a lot of space to express that as well, because it's important for them to have that most of the time. But again, sometimes life is different, and then they can, like, figure out how to redirect their energy and to learn to also be more calm. But yeah, I would definitely avoid too much situations where it's not, don't go to a lot of events where they have to sit in silence, because it's normally really not their talent. So do stuff that is more, involving action and thinking and new impulses and interesting things going on. That's more for Aries. So you can decide from, while planning your activities, and your child, of course, they don't have to learn that and be the master of Buddha, like sitting still. It would be more the Taurus child, maybe, or Capricorn. Has to do with control, and they're different personalities. It's just so unique. But yeah, I want to say, avoid this unnecessary scenarios, and don't shush them where it's not necessary. So if it's okay that they, are just wiggling around a little bit, or just, saying some words because they had an idea, and while it's maybe still a more calm situation, maybe it's okay, like, inside of the boundaries, the rules, what's going on, maybe it's okay if they just break out with little excitement here and there. So don't do that too much, I think. Again, if it's necessary, I always say a lot of so yeah, there's a lot of energy in that Aries sun. I can really feel that when I talk about it and think about them. So yeah, they will accept your will, and respect that when you say no and shh, if it's necessary and you really mean that. And when it's coming from a place of not dominating them for like pressing your own will on them, then they will usually go into a fight and pressing against it, and then they will feel that's a challenge for them, and they have to kind of protect themselves or defend themselves. They easily like on to defend themselves. So when someone is coming in with a demanding, like challenging energy and with a fight, conflict energy from the start, they will take the fight usually, because that's just how their energy goes. And very often they're up like in a second, but they're also usually calming down quickly. They're not the ones like hanging on to it and hours and days and years even. They're just forgetting about it, depending on what else is going on, when it's important for your child. But it's all too boring, so they just on to the next thing. So that's a good thing about when there's some, temper tantrum going on, or like this frustration energy, want to express themselves. And of course, they need to be space for that also sometimes. But yeah, it will not go on for hours, It's usually very strong and fast. That's the Aries energy. So, okay, what else did I wrote? Yeah, I already talked about that. If a situation where it's necessary to like learn to be calm and not only to do what you want to do, then be very clear about it and unwavering in your energy. So then they will understand that it's important right now, and then they will be able to do that, I think. But don't come with too many explanations and, as I said, like smoothing of the things and like being apologetic about this. Okay, oh, sorry, later I will give you some sweets or something. It's not necessary with Aries. People tend to be afraid of this setting boundaries. But actually, my experience is that they're very good, better than anyone else, to understand. Sometimes there's a no, and then there's a yes in the next moment. So situations change all the time. And when you set a clear boundary here and now, and again, don't come with too many like, oh, sorry, and that's why, blah, blah, blah. You can say a short thing like, because it's important right now, or even because I said so, as your parent, but in a friendly, clear way. Like, you have to be sure of what you're doing, right? Yeah. Make it short. And then, yeah, I was already into that, avoiding this boring situations and situations where there's just dragging on and on and on. Like, for example, a long drive in the car, or when you have to do a lot of homework, like in one hook. When you can avoid that with the homework, for example, like break it up in smaller parts, or make some pauses where your child can just, move the body, run around, have a little break, and do whatever they want for 10 minutes or what, and then come back to work. And make it a little bit exciting. Not too much, you don't have to be the entertainer for them. Sometimes there's necessary things that we don't always like agree with, but they can battle it. They can do that. Try to make it a little bit interesting at least, and at the same time, how do you say that, clear. Make it and short. You could, for example, if they have a hard time with their homework, like if they think it's boring, you can have this very clear goal and the time frame where you know, as fast as possible, you will go through that. And that's not for everyone. You know, some people will, and children will feel pressured with this like pace, like fast. But for Aries, often it's motivation. So they're very fast paced themselves, and it will motivate them to get things done. They like to do that, and later so that they can do, you know, their own thing after they completed that challenge, right? So that's actually how it could work with such a thing, like homework, or if you're on a long journey, like driving to a holiday, a lot of hours in the car, that kind of stuff. You could prepare by maybe buying them a special new tool. Not too much. I don't think you have to say too much of this sorry that you have to wait, because that's life, and you don't made it up that you have to, you know, go a long way when you have to travel. That's how it is. That's the facts of life, and then standard. So don't say sorry for that. But you could prepare for all of you, like having a relaxed start into the holidays by like buying some interesting new stuff for the children if you have more than one child, so that they can sit and look at that when it gets a little bit too long, and then they can have that, you know, a little bit for their mind to be to be in connection with, and maybe to have a stop here and there for them to get out of the car and move a little. And you can listen to interesting stories, like in the like an audio book, for example. You know your child, right? But you can really help them to make life easier in such situations, and then it will of course be much more comfortable for everyone in the car. And they will also understand, okay, now it's just like it is, right? We have 5 hours from here, and we will make a pause, and this and that, and everything is good. We will get there. And usually they can respect that. I will do another breakup because we're already into many minutes.